Hey, how's it going everybody? And today we're going to be looking over my subscribers' lockers counts on Blox Fruits. So if you do want to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Now before we do get into the locker video today, I will just let you know that basically all of these submissions actually came from my Discord, which you can actually join from the link in the description and in the comment section. This Discord has over 3,000 members, which can allow you to actually trade fruits with other people and just talk to a lot more people in the community. And not to mention that it's also good for giveaways. As of course, even though I get fruits all the time, hey, they're still good for, you know, raids and stuff, and I actually do give away quite often, or at least I try to. So yeah, we're just gonna try and get right into this video, and let's have a look at these lockers. The first locker we actually have for today is NXRPlays. So of course, if I open the first image here, which should open right here, which I have to drag across, and of course we just get basic fruits. Nothing too interesting here. He is max level though, 2,550. Not to mention he also has 6,284 fragments and 1.3 million belly. He also has the Buddha fruit right here, which is obviously insane for grinding, so this is automatically a really good account if you were to ever sell it. Of course on the dark web, because you're not gonna sell it, you know, from Roblox. But hey, you know, you could probably make some good money off this account because of all the work that he's put into it. So of course he also has the Crystal Katana as well. He's also a mobile player, so that's quite interesting. But I actually have seen quite a few of those in today's video, which you'll actually see later on. So moving on to the next image, which is going to be right over here. Now over here is not a whole lot of interesting fruits here, but it does have light fruit, which of course is actually pretty good fruit for if you actually were starting out in the first sea. The rest of those though, kind of garbage. Moving on to the next picture though, he actually does have some quite interesting stuff here. He has, of course, these pretty bad fruits, which is just basically all ad fruits if you were going to trade them. And of course you do have the magma, which is obviously good for sea beast hunting if it's awakened especially. So of course, yeah, that's basically that is. Quake's not that good, but love is okay. So yeah, alright, let's move on to the next image and let's have a look at this, and let me drag it on over. And now this is interesting here. So sounds good. Phoenix is an ad fruit. Spider's basically an ad fruit, but it has pretty cool abilities. If you do like the abilities, you probably like the fruit. So, you know, you really wouldn't matter if this is just an ad fruit, because if you do like it. But besides that, of course, Pain fruit is pretty bad. Blizzard's I think Blizzard's alright, but it's not like insane. Gravity fruit's the worst mythic in the entire game, I'm pretty sure. Now let's move on to the next picture, and this is actually insane, so let me drag it on over here. So he actually does have the dragon fruit, and he also has the venom fruit and a T-Rex fruit. So now I'm just going to let you know, obviously the dragon fruit, yes, is actually probably going to be one of the best fruits in the entire game. Once the Blox Fruit developers decide to, you know, stop wiping their butts with $100 bills and actually update this game, you know, we might actually see that the dragon fruit will become the most expensive fruit in the game, because I'm guessing that the original dragon could actually be separate from, of course, the reworked version. But that is, of course, you know, wait and see. But of course, Venom as well is also alright, and then of course T-Rex as well is also really good as well. So these are all really good for trading, so you know, you're basically set on trading if you want to trade to anything else. Moving on to our next submission is actually by a person named Alex, who only sent one image. So let's have a look at this one image that he sent on over. And it's actually quite insane though for one image. And as you can see, he actually has 2 Kitsunes, 1 leopard, 3 dragons, 4 spirits, 2 controls, and 2 venoms. So he also has the hollow scythe, the sound fruit, and it's almost max level, 2,177, 2.1 million belly, and 930 fragments. So this account is automatically just insane for all these fruits that he has. And not to mention the fruit storage. This dude has 4 fruit storage at the minimum. So of course, you know, if you were to actually sell this later on down the road, I can tell you this account will probably go for quite a little bit. Now moving on to the next submission, we have a person named Drago. I hope I do say his name right, or it could be Drago, I don't know. But you know, he actually did send quite a few images where we actually got a full thing of his entire locker. So let's actually look right through this. So of course, guy right here is just basic swords, nothing too special here. And then moving on to the next one though, I think it's actually a bit interesting. We actually have the Rengoku right here, which is obviously what he just has. He's level 1,421, 918 fragments for 3.1 million belly, but also does have the T-Rex fruit, which is obviously good for a beast fruit, and it's not, you know, bad overall. But obviously Rengoku is probably the best one here because it's the only one that's upgraded besides 2 other ones. So yeah, let's move on to the next picture that he did send. Now let me move on over. Yeah, so these are just garbage fruits. Now you may be wondering, Jay Roblox, why are you showing us these garbage fruits? Now these fruits are technically still good if you're in the 2nd sea or in the 3rd sea, because you can actually use these bad fruits to actually use them as a way to actually do raids. So these actually are pretty good to have, because this will actually let you actually awaken other fruits that you want to do. So it's actually pretty good to still have these, just because if you want to. It's also just to let, you know, of course, the person know that, hey, you can actually use these because they still do have a value instead of them just sitting in your locker the entire time. But moving on to the next image, we got the light fruit right here. Probably the best one on this entire list, like for, of course, all these here. So yeah, all these are basically kind of pure. They're just kind of all just ads. I mean, ice is good though. Ice is good for 1st sea, and maybe I'd say 2nd sea as well. It's ice fruit for a blue like rarity fruit is actually pretty good. Moving on to the next image, we actually do have some interesting fruits here. We have the rubber fruit, the barrier fruit, the ghost fruit, the magma fruit. The magma fruit's good for hunting sea beasts, so this is probably one of the best ones in this entire list here. Quake, obviously not that good, and gravity as well. So that is all there is to see here. So moving on to the next image, which I'll be pulling up right now, we actually have just these accessories, which of course is quite interesting. Gold mask, I don't actually even have on my main account, so that's just something. But yeah, so he does have that, which is pretty cool. So of course, moving on to the other ones though, I think this is actually where we get to his materials. So he does have meteorite, which is alright, ectoplasm, fishtail, radioactive material, vampire fang, angel wings, and just everything else that you can just get from grinding. So then I think moving on to the last one is his guns. So of course his guns over here, he actually does have a bazooka, which is good because that's just good to pick up in general. The Aston rifle, I don't even have that. The bizarre rifle, and yeah, I don't have that either. So I need to get all my guns. I don't have all these guns on here. Now moving on to the next locker that we actually have here for today is Loser Raptor, and Loser Raptor actually sent quite a few over. Now the first one, I will let you guys know, is flipped sideways for whatever reason. I don't know why it is. Can I switch it on over? Yeah, I can. Alright, so there we go. He does have the dough fruit, the best thing that's on the screen right now, obviously, because that's just really good for PvP. A lot of people want it, so it has value in that standard. Now moving on to the next picture we have right here, he does actually have dark fragments, which is interesting. The meteorite right here as well, the ectoplasm, the vampire fang, and the fishtail, and all that. This is all basic stuff besides the dark fragment though, which is a good thing to see there. I don't think he showed his stats at all though. He does actually have this tail though, which is interesting. So yeah, light fruit, probably the best one on this entire list. I mean, for this picture right here, sorry. The light fruit though is probably the best actual fruit he has on this entire picture though. I've said it before, it's a pretty good fruit, especially since a lot of people get this usually on the 1st sea anyways, so that's good to always have. And technically you can the thing is, when you trade as well, especially with ice fruit and of course light fruit, it's there's actually a couple of reasons that you could tell somebody that, hey, this fruit has value even though it's not a mythical, which is actually something that's good to know when trading. So now moving on to, of course, his guns right here. So he has the kabucha, the SLM rifle, the cannon, all basic stuff here. Accessories also good too, but we can't really see them. So of course, moving on to his swords right here. These are all basic swords. This is all you can get from basic farming and just playing the game. Then moving on to, of course, his other swords, which will actually be his better swords. You have the Saber, the Basento, the Pole First Form, and the Rengoku. So that's all good to have. Of course, his Saber is probably going to be one of his highest level ones besides the Dragon Trident he's obviously using right now. And moving on to his fruits. This is probably the best part of his, of course, locker right here. He has Dough Fruit, T-Rex Fruit, and Magma. I'm just not including Phoenix because it is an ad fruit. It's not really that good besides, of course, it being there. But yeah. This is all pretty good. If you want to trade it up to anything else, you probably will be able to. So yeah, moving on to the next person, we have No Links. Now of course, if we actually move on here, this is going to be the first thing right here, which is actually going to be his fruits. Now moving on over, he actually does have one venom fruit here, a ghost fruit, and a light fruit. The best thing here is arguably obviously the venom fruit and the light fruit. He also is using T-Rex right here, also has the Rengoku sword, and is level 1279. Has 4,400 fragments and has 1 million bellies. So this is obviously a pretty good account. He's also on mobile too, which we see a lot, which is really, really interesting that a lot of these Blox Fruit players are actually on mobile. Now moving on to the next image right here is just the accessories. Of course, nothing really a whole lot going on here besides, just basic stuff that you can easily get from playing the game. Of course, moving on to the guns. Now the guns are quite interesting here because he does have bazooka, kabucha, and yeah, so that's of course two good things to have. And now moving on to, of course, these swords as well. All basic stuff you can get from farming. Nothing really to be set there. And then moving on to this, of course, you got the Saber, the Rengoku, and the Pole First Form, which are his best swords that he has on his locker. And of course, his fruits right here, which does make his account quite good. Just for the sole reason, he has Dragon. And of course, Venom as well, and Lights. So those are probably like his 3 best fruits probably on here. So yeah, it's good that he actually has these though, because it actually, gives his account a bit of value besides his fragments. Moving on to the next person, we have a person called Raid, I think is how you say his name. I hope I say that right. But his account honestly is insane just off of this alone. So first off, he actually has the Buddha equipped, obviously the best for grinding, using Cyborg to, of course, for his race. Has all this stuff, so I can easily tell this man is easily probably max level. He has, of course, a Portal Fruit, a Phoenix Fruit, a Sound Fruit, Magma Fruit here. He has 2 of them. He also has 3 Quakes, 2 Buddhas, and 2 Loves. So obviously this man is honestly easily set on just all this. And of course he also sends another picture too, which is obviously going to be, the best fruits that he has. This is interesting. So he has the Leopard Fruit, 2 Dragon Fruits. He has 1 Spirit Fruit, 3 Controls, 1 Rumble, 1 Mammoth, and 2 Dough. Which is, this man is just set for like trading wise. I mean, you're not missing a whole lot besides Kitsune. And like that is literally it, because you have everything else basically that's of any value. Moving on to the next person, we have K. This is literally all I see with their Discord names. So let's start with the first of the fruits, which is obviously just garbage besides that. But here we can actually look at his level 935. So this man literally just stepped right on into second C. Of course, at like level 700, I think he stepped into the second C with. And of course, he does have the Buddha fruit, and he also has 93,000 belly with 1,390 fragments, which isn't that bad at all to start off when you're basically still technically new to the second C. Moving on, this is actually the rest of his fruits here. Obviously, the best ones here, Magma and Light Fruit, which is obviously really good. He also has a Mythical Fruit, which is coming up right here. So if we actually look on, of course, this over here, and see, it is a Shadow. So you're not doing bad per se. You have a good starting point if you actually do want to trade up, so I highly recommend that you do, because you can probably get a lot more than what you currently have. Now of course, moving on to the next stuff here, we're actually looking at his swords, and his swords, he does literally just have the Saber. This is the best thing he got so far, but I don't blame him. He just got into second C, and this is the best sword you can basically get in the first C anyways. Now moving on to the items, not a whole lot going on here, so I'm not going to really cover it that much. Just basic stuff you get for farming, and of course fruits as well right here, which is just not that good besides flame fruit technically. So yeah, that is all for his locker. Now moving on to the next person, we have a person called Navi Rock. I hope I said his name right. But of course, if we actually do move on to it, we actually do get the accessories here, which actually just opened right here. That's really nice. But he's level 727, has the Light Fruit, and I don't know what he's using there for his mastery. I see Saber, 500 fragments and 1.4 million belly. Not bad. He's also mastery level 276 with his light, so that's not bad. Moving on to his fruits though. Of course, these are all just basic fruits. Not going to cover them a whole lot, besides you already know they're good for raids. So moving on to the next one, this is all his, of course, accessories and some fruits here. Not really a whole lot good for that, but everybody starts somewhere. And of course he has Saber as well. And does he have anything else for his stuff? Okay, now this is literally just a picture of his account. I mean, thanks for sharing. Now moving on to one of the biggest locker submissions of today's video. This is by Subhan. I hope I say your name right, because I really hope I am saying all these people's names right. They're probably going to butcher me in the comments section for this. But, here we go. First thing off. Now, first off is his items right here. He is using the Buddha, though. He is level 361, the Spiky Trident, 1,900 fragments, and 7.1 million belly. So, moving on to the next thing right here. Of course, this is going to be, I think it will probably just be more accessories. Not a whole lot going on here, but since there's so many pictures, I just kind of have to go right through them. So, of course, I think there's more items right here. Yep, more items. This guy has 267 ectoplasms. This bro was farming the ectoplasms. Alright, but moving on to, of course, and what we have over here as well, he actually does have 6 dark fragments, which is insane. He has 28 candy, which I think you get from an event, if I remember rightly. So that's very interesting that you have that. Now, moving on here as well, of course, the other picture right here. He just has basic fruits here. Flame's the best one in this entire one right here. Moving on to the next picture right here, we actually have the Light Fruit, which is the best one on this list right here. He also has fruit storage because he has 2 dark and 2 ice right here and 2 rubber, so that's all good for account value. So now moving on to the next picture though, we should have Yep, he does have dough right here, so that's interesting right here that you actually do have dough. And of course you have, of course, 2 ghost fruits, 2 berry fruits, 1 quake. But you know, the dough is the best one there. Moving on to his accessories though, he has gold mask, that's pretty good. I don't know about any of these other ones because I don't have all accessories in the game yet for whatever reason. But moving on to, of course, you know, what we got going on over here is just bandana red. I don't even have this either. I think you have, there's quite a lengthy challenge to get these bandanas. I could be wrong though. Somebody can comment about it in the comment section about that. But of course, moving on here, Valkyrie helm. I don't even have that too. I need to get that Valkyrie helm. That's pretty cool. Moving on to the rest of the stuff though, of course, he has the Cinnamon rifle, Bizarre rifle, basic stuff. You know, keep moving on, right? So of course, now this is interesting. He actually does have the Coco sword. I don't have Coco sword. I'm pretty sure you have to get that through the Kitsune Island, I think. I could be wrong, but of course, I don't have the sword, so I don't know. The Spiky Trident, don't have that either. So this dude has a lot of stuff that I don't even have. But of course, moving on, of course, to the last thing right here, he does have Buddha, which is perm, no furlough is what it looks like. So it's very actually cool that he has this. Another mobile player too, because a lot of Blox Fruit players are just all mobile players apparently. Now moving on to the last person in today's video, which is honestly one of the best lockers I think in this video, and this is by Atomics. So of course, we're going to start off with the first picture here. Now if we actually full screen it right here, he does have the Dark Blade, which is interesting. He also has the Cursed Dual Katana. He's max level, 100,000 belly. This man needs to actually start grinding the game to get more belly again. 87 fragments too. But he's another mobile player. Now, if we go into the other, of course, picture though, it's actually quite interesting. He actually has 2 dragons, 1 venom fruit, 1 rumble fruit, 1 portal, 1 sound, and I think that's 4 spiders. So he's 4 minimum of his fruit storage. Yeah, max fruit storage is 4. So this dude has obviously quite an account that's worth quite a bit. He also has soul guitar too, so that's interesting. So this guy is definitely a grinder for sure. And that's it. So if you actually did go on to enjoy today's locker video, please make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And also join my Discord so you can be in these videos yourself and also take part in any giveaways that I do. But of course, I am jayrbx, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.